Everybody say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. So Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things, Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. So Lord, you are, you're my everything. See, I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. Uya matinyina. Uya matinyina. Uya matinyina. Oh, uya matinyina. Yeah, so uya. Uya matinyina. Uya matinyina. Yeah. Uya matinyina. Uya matinyina. Say, I call you Jireh, say. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are my everything. Yeah. Are you ready, everybody? All right, listen. William me ground, cover your 1, 2, 3. I can breathe without you, say. I can breathe without you. I can move without you, Lord. I can move without you. Hey, who am I without you? Who am I without you? Say, I can live without you, yeah. I can live without you. I can breathe.
Happy Valentine to all our loyal listeners and viewers. Mema obi bia kwaba eba yedwumadie so. Baby biara wo brono bia wo share. Da bia wo mo no anope mema happy Valentine's Day. Yebeka ni se yodom odo ne yewo na odo de akoma na yeka akoma nso na yeka mogyasem. Na ba mogyasem nso de a na ekire se ye ni abre ewo dom. Enti ene ye dido ene ye kai odo. Ene ye kire se ampa odo ehia ewo ya sitine mu. Enti baby bia rowo mesre enidie mu fa wo dɔ no a wowɔ no ene no bɛka me deɛ ho na yɛnhwɛ adwumadie yi fiti now up to time a yɛbɛwie. Yɛnkyerɛkyerɛ dɔ by sharing, yɛnkyerɛkyerɛ dɔ by liking our page, yɛnkyerɛkyerɛ dɔ by calling someone, a friend, a family member, a loved one, sibling bi say ene nso emre na som bra na yɛnhwɛ BWF Solicitors legal hour na edu so no na yɛnkyerɛkyerɛ adwen ɛwɔ nneɛma ehu bi ho a trendy ɛwɔ yɛ immigration mu nsɛm ɛwɔ yɛ legal matters mu anaasɛ home office nhyehyɛe a wɔwɔ anaasɛ even aban mu mmara a ɛwɔ hɔ a ɔsɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛhu na yɛmfa nto anamon. Enti wobɛka me ho a mede nigye kɛseɛ ne ɔdɔ ɛhyia wo na wo nso saa bɔ mmɔden a na share program no na nkɔ akyi. Me din ane manyeti ana wofrɛ me na manyeti a megye wo so ɛnɛ m'ani agye ɛsiane sɛ me deɛ yɛka ɔdɔ a ɔdɔ wura me saa na biribi yɛ me na kyerɛ sɛ ɔdɔ mu a na menante nti me biribia yɛ ɔdɔ 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 nti nea mɛsrɛ wo sɛ abra wohwɛ me bɔ mmɔden a wopɛ sɛ wo like page no a mepɛ love emojis no na mehu sɛ ampa you are also showing love to me na kyerɛ sɛ ɔdɔ no ayɛ tight saa na ɛteɛ ɛnɛ m'ani agye yie sɛ yɛde dwumadie yi ɛreba ma akwan mmerɛ bi sei na yɛbɛba no as my resource personnel no may introduce no very very soon na ɔno nso de nkyia kɛseɛ mu ohwam ɛne nea mu ɔdɛ ɛde ama etiefoɔ ɛne ahwɛfoɔ mebɔ mo nkae sɛ baabi a wohwɛ me biara no bɔ mmɔden ara na follow page no nso na mboa yɛn na yɛn nso yɛnkɔ yɛn nim ɛnɛ yɛwɔ topic a mu ohwam na ɛnɛ being the vast day no wobɛka wokɔ Ghana atɛ ne baabiara Ghanafoɔ de agya yɛdi occasion no yɛdi kyɛn ɔmo a ɔmo de baayɛ mpo ayɛ biribi ɛwɔ hɔ na wobɛyɛ ne dɛn ɛka yɛn ho so I will introduce my resource person me nua me lawyer papa bi ɔba prɛko pɛ lawyer Eunice na ɔmfa nkyia kɛseɛ ɛma etiefoɔ na ahwɛfoɔ na afei nea ɛwɔ hɔ no na mede ato dwa na yɛahwɛ lawyer Eunice mema wakɔ aba mema happy Father's Day nso.
Major, so happy Valentine's and my yeti. Yeah, Diamia say, at least nkurɔfoɔ a wɔhwɛ yɛn ne nkurɔfoɔ a usually wɔka yɛn ho na yɛyɛ program no so abɛhyia ɛwɔ platform no so anapɛ yi yɛma mu nyinaa a happy Valentine's Day. And as the saying goes, when it's time to show your love, you have to show it clearly so that everyone can see, say, yes, indeed, you are showing love. I believe that when it comes to our Valentine's Day, most people would be going to show their love in one way or the other, whether it's within an office setting, a family setting, whichever way possible, you will definitely make it known that you are truly showing your love. And I mean, they can be expressed in words or by gift giving as well. And see, go on and do something for somebody today. And I hope that you do it so that the person knows that yes, indeed you are a good and loving person. And see, and yet, nkurɔfoɔ no a yɛpɛ ɔmo pɛ na yɛhyɛ ɔdɔ, but also those that you may not necessarily like or you may not necessarily share common ground with. So it's good that at least we have Happy Valentine's Day because it's something that helps us cheer each other up as well. Um, and there being the 14th of February, we are almost halfway through the month, and your government no nso ɛwɔ nhyehyɛeɛ a wɔde ahyehyɛ hɔ nti yɛbɛgya introduction no na yɛatoa so akɔ your main updates for the week. As we all know, yɛate wɔ news no mu sɛ opposition leader Kemi Badenoch ɛka ho asɛm sɛ ɔno deɛ ɔho ne sɛ sɛ ɔba into power wɔbɛma immigrants for no wɔn baa kurom ha 15 years to be able to attain citizenship. And wɔn baa illegally anaasɛ wɔn mfa nkrataa amba no nso, they would then be banned from applying for citizenship. This is an opposition leader. The ɔbɛka no ɛnyɛ mbra ɛnyɛ asɛm because ɔnni government mu. But we know from previous conservative governments, which is Richie Sunak time, no, almost the bill and as act vibaya, almost for an illegal migration act. And within that act of 2023, no, they made mention of Nkrofa almost almost eligible persons to apply for citizenship. And so it was almost like saying these people would not be able to apply for citizenship because of one or the other reason. Into government no who says our bill no echo so, and there were certain sections that were to come into force this year of 2025. And so as a result of those sections, Ninti, Home Office for no Nyankane said they have now updated their guidance not to reflect what was already made law in 2023. And so they have said, say, when it comes to nkrofo a omo ba ekrom ha illegally, nti nwanfa nkrata amba, ebia wo ba no wo free Europe na eba wo de bus na eba ye, anase wo fa boats na de ba ye, ana krampo say mud kaka and I'm bedru UK Chrome ha. Into that being the case, you are an illegal immigrant because one fa enkrata amba. And so in this scenario, we are saying say oba hanum illegally. The position is that we will normally refuse your application for citizenship unless you can show say there are exceptional circumstances the entire say yeah the citizenship no amount. Nti, of course, nkurɔfoɔ bebree ɛrefrɛ in regards to that. Paatwɔ ɛnyɛ nkurɔfoɔ a wɔbaa hanom as visitors a wɔabɛtena hanom as overstayers. Ɛnyɛ wɔn sɛm ɛna yɛreka. Yɛreka nkurɔfoɔ a wɔamfa nkrataa amba koraa a wɔde bɛwura mu a afei de wɔanya asetena no. Wɔn ɛna yɛreka wɔn ho asɛm. Nti sɛ wode nkrataa na ɛbaayɛ deɛ a, then you don't really have an issue. But sɛ woamfa nkrataa amba na wobɛtena mu ansa na wonya nkrataa deɛ a, then the position is that you will normally be refused. So almost say normally you must be refused into a discretion. Into usually they would say because this is the case, so to make sure be exceptional now say ɛboro deɛ ɔmo no na ɔmo hwɛ na ɔmo tumi ma wɔ citizenship anaasɛ asetena ɛwɔ UK kurom ha. And so at least when it comes to your new guidance in regards to good character requirements for nationality applications there, then ɔmo engineer anaasɛ deɛ ɔmo no ɛfa nkurɔfoɔ a ɔmo baa hanom illegally. And so hopefully, I mean, people who made their applications before 10th February, which was Monday, before the 10th of February, not yet, the old guidance will still apply. But the way your application from Monday we are echo idea, then it means that the new guidance are from the 10th of February 2025 will now apply into say unim say wo application na wayɛ no watch so say woba no ebia wo the visitors visa na ɛba ayɛ dia, then that's fair enough. But say unim say woba krom ha wamba kwan papa so ɛna wamfa wo details anhyɛ mu sɛ wo the visitors visa na ɛba ayɛ dia, then unfortunately saa guidance we anaasɛ ɔmo policy we a ɔmo de aba no ɛbɛwerɛ. Nti at least yɛmma yɛtiefoɔ ne nkurɔfoɔ a ɔmopɛ sɛ ɔmoba kurom ha ehu. Ebinom say they are okay with indefinite leave to remain. So wɔanya citizenship koraa mpo a ɛyɛ okay. I mean it's fair enough. At least sɛ wowɔ afebɔɔ deɛ a wobɛtumi ahwɛ wo ho akɔ in and out of the country. Nti at least ɛno deɛ ɛwɔ hɔ saa. But as much as possible sɛ wonim sɛ kurom ha ɛbɛyɛ wɔ kurom na wopɛ sɛ ɔtena kurom ha deɛ a ɛndeɛ sɛ wotumi ɛba ɛkwan papa so na at least no sɛ ɛduru time a sɛ woyɛ wo naturalization na wotumi ayɛ ɛno nso. Nti ma yɛti update way ɛna
Yeah, just me one po. Internet just said lawyer Eunice say obi ba ha with that condition or na wa ye ni 20 years. Enya sa 2.5 and I say or me say 20 years 2.5 nimpo de ba enche nti no but wa go through long stay. Ena wenya indefinite na afei na ọkọgye ne ọpɛ sɛ ɔyɛ citizenship na kyerɛ sɛ ɔno ɔntumi nyɛ mpatwɔ saa na ɛteɛ.
nti ɛnyɛ nkurɔfoɔ a wɔyɛ overstayers ɛnyɛ ɔmo
Dabi
ɛyɛ
ɔno
nkurɔfoɔ
ɔno
yes
de saa ship o sɛ tray o
okay
whatever
yes
ne bi
yes
ɛna
yes
ɛbaeɛ but wabɛtena mu long stay
long
ɛma
stay
weprove biribiara ma wenya indefinite leave a watena
yes
indefinite no mu for some time na sisi a yɛn
yes
adwene sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkɔyɛ citizen a from 10th of February kono enya ade
January no.
obetumi aye citizen no.
Debbie,
Omo
almost refuse no, unless he can show exceptional or compassionate grounds in the India. So almost the man because of course it's not an obligation. Say change some refuse it. There is that discretion to look at case by case basis. Say I didn't see a eba ne saa say because a be a me chrome na me feel so no nyama enhyɛ da ɛnkɔ so yie mentumi apply for visit visa ɛmba kurom ha since I'm meba kurom ha ma yɛ adwuma saa ma contribute to society memba no koraa mpo ɛwɔ school ɛwɔ kurom ha bibia meyɛ biara no me make sure sɛ metumi anam mbra kwan no so saa nti you have to be able to show
hey,
exceptional circumstances before
yeah.
wetumi aka sɛ okay wo case wei deɛ yɛtumi ahwɛ mu yie wehu sɛ wetumi akyerɛ sɛ wo deɛ no ɛyɛ exceptional nti yɛbɛtumi de ama wo nti you have to be able to show those exceptional circumstances before that. Yeah.
Hey, and also who can either say maybe you contribute to national something, be a sports BB Ujinama
Yeah.
nation na, and I say
Yeah.
MBA. It's not just say you definitely need to be doing something na. A
Yeah.
bit to me convince your margin, but say
Yeah.
Uba no na situation na arewa account na Uba the area. I don't think say any you can as well stay with your indefinite leave. Someone can someone more sit na.
Of
But
course.
open be yes citizen there. Your
Yeah.
your 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 excuses need should be really really strong ties with them and sana be
Yeah.
consider. Hey, nneɛma
Yeah.
ɛsesa wɔ anuanom ne adɔfoɔ sɛnea nneɛma ɛsesa kɔ yi deɛ me little advice or humble advice am de bɛma ne sɛ wowɔ biribi yie a I think sɛ this is the time a or sɛ woyɛ me koraa bɔ me hu kakra ɛwɔ nneɛma nketenkete bi ho nti no this is the time a ɔsɛ wotu anamo yɛtwentwɛn saa procrastination no ho hia biom sɛ yɛbɛkɔ so atwe yɛn nan ase ne atwitwe nneɛma mu yɛnkɔ na yɛnyɛ ne ntam na mmara no nsesan kɛme nsɛm a ɔbɛka yɛ ɔbɔ nkurɔfoɔ bebree ho na nkurɔfoɔ nso digidigi a ka sɛ wo wo so ba as immigrant even though yɛwɔ wɔ ha but wokɔtena wo kurom ansa na woba nti tam a wobaeɛ no obi bɛseɛ wo so saa na afei wo mmara a wopɛ sɛ ɔde bɛn na mu ɔden abɔ nkurɔfoɔ bebree ho but the advice sɛ ɔmo yɛ opposition nti no mpaebɔ anaasɛ yɛn ne yɛbɛtoto yɛn sesi a yɛ state labour government bɛtoto n'anan mu yie sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a next voting no yɛnyi ɔmo mfiri so na kɛmi nkurɔfoɔ no ɛmbɛfa because ɔmo deɛ ɔmo ka sɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ biribi ɔmo bɛyɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ etiefo na ahwɛfoɔ saa na ɛteɛ waba so a mɛsrɛ wɔ anidie mu show love na share the program wo share program no na mehwehwɛ mesrɛ wo share the program ne ma me no hia me paa sɛ wobɛhyɛ na ɛno na ɛkyerɛ sɛ you are showing me love na ntili good morning mekyia wo nso megye wo so megye di sɛ wo ho yɛ baabi biara a wowɔ mo nyinaa monka yɛn ho ɔse please kindly share comment and then like the page na ene like no ya no I love the page so when adeɛ no test ebeka say good morning please I want to know when but your question no I will ask your question after the education normally that's what we do legal education if we are then I ask questions so keep your questioning coming in mombra now if you can call at the end of the education I'll open the phone lines for you to call and then you ask your question any question at all it doesn't really matter whether it's to do with the topic that we are going to educate today no you can ask any question at all nti me won say Charles Emery nso di nyamesem ne odo asem abegu Charles yeda say but eya na yen share with the legal information and I say legal matters question no na me share that ehia pa adai taribo or say please share adai me da say Samuel won so say God bless you all for today yeda say mun share program no Charles me da say wo program na ase na wo behwe bon say sa page na like love ni sa no umia ode unsa mia page like bottom ne so kakra, it will pop up so many emojis. Now we mia love then so eno na me hwehwe pa nti me bombo modia na mon call Facebook, YouTube baby, or you can still do this love emojis no e de amaye na ama yakoye nim na mon commenting so or ask questions, any question at all, ask mombisa ewo Facebook ni YouTube ne so na yembisa emamo yebekɔ yenim na ansa na yebekɔ yenim pese lawyer Eunice Banshio kakra ento na ni mememu because oba be my education ɛdɔɔso yie na yɛato ho anamɔm na yɛdidi dwuma na ɛteɛ ne sɛ wobaa so a sɛnea medical ka no bɔ mmɔden ahyɛ program na ɛhia yɛ ankasa just share the program no na yɛnkɔ yɛnim na afei nso no so be a telephone line. I'm just repeating myself because me pay information be the amamo. Me be a telephone lines so na wait to me after question now person be say na ye beka still mbi ankwala or wait to me wo krumu ha mfie nson kwala omo krumu ha mfie nson eno na eba beka omo ho asem say ye wo omo ha say ye de omo ba ha eno ho asem ne ababeka said the thing is say already 7 years wo UK abonten so nkwala already 7 years wo UK abonten so ntino ye bekwa ye kire kakra hwe say nkwala no ye wo mo ha ana ye de omo ba ha emre bi mu ana say sen netie eno ne ba be se ne be ya obehu where you stand say wo ba no wa ha sana na say wa wo wa ha no obehu nhihye wo ho de ma sa akwala no so obetumi agi asetena de ama no so no me question na me bisa lawyer Eunice ni say can my child apply for indefinite leave having lived in the UK for a continuous period of 7 years. Having lived in the UK, watena kromo ha, but say ye wo no wa ha, say yan wo no wa ha because ebi mo wo a ye be wo mo wa ha, ebi mo wo nso a ye wo mo kakra ngenge na na ene mo ba, obi nso no enye ngenge no obi nso no ye no mo ba ha emre omo ye nkwala say omunya 18 years ne nko a de ye emre bi ye ne omo ba ha at any point of their age ne ene omo ba ha no mo ba ye no nso no omo abedi mfie nson nti omo abedi mfie nson na eno na yebisa say yebetumi apply for indefinite leave so may remain in the UK abra omatna continuous period of 7 years no possible and I say possible eno na mama lawyer Eunice eba be chere nti no without wasting much time no me santo nsa emfre lawyer Eunice anka mpese me commercial break but metwen answer my education ni wia na yakwa aba lawyer Eunice mesa atonsa de afra obiom na me question me de abetu dwai mpese wo be chere yi mu kakra me de akwala eba ha me wo no wo me kromu Ghana or any other country and I mean na ba kromu ha as the point the age or many ne ba me fan say no you less than 18 years sorry intino sisi a wenya 18 years me apply sorry wenya 7 years continuous 7 years e wo kromu ha me apply for indefinite leave amano ana sempo meaning krata me ni hwe nanso ma wo akwala metumi ahwe na sisi a wenya 7 years ono so metumi apply indefinite leave to remain e de amana nam kwan ben so na se me wa akwala we di ni nkrata na we di 7 years continuous 7 years e wo krom ha metumi nya asetena e de amano eno ne me question na ene me wo ma onti mesa atonsa fro na odi nimde no amaye questions bi wo ha mebisa afterwards Pacho Adaroma.
Me da se bebre ma yeti ye da se hwefo na etifo a mo hwe yen e wo YouTube na Facebook so question de you look at the question in its separate forms. Some say can my child apply for indefinite leave having lived in the UK for a continuous period of 7 years? Into yen hwe akola ebia yawo no e wo krom ha ebia woni asetena e wo krom ha na wawo saa akwadaa no ɛwɔ kurom ha na wokyerɛ sɛ because akwadaa no watena UK kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years no wopɛ sɛ woyɛ ne nkrataa ne ma no. Yes, of course, you can do so under your Appendix Private Life of the immigration rules. Nti ɛno no saa no, yɛnhwɛ nneɛma apɔtee a ɔmo ɛrehwehwɛ. Nti when it comes to Appendix Private Life of your immigration rules na, yɛwɔ biribi a yɛfrɛ no suitability requirements. Usually sɛ woyɛ obi a ɔncommit offence a ebi a yɛama wo imprisonment of 12 months or more a yɛmma wo biribi a yɛfrɛ no deportation order. Nti sɛ wo se woyɛ Ghanani na ebi a wabɛ commit offence ɛwɔ hɔ kurom hanom na ɔma sentence wo a, they are going to say it's an automatic reason for them to now deport you because prison sentence no 12 months and over, and I said at least 12 months. Into bibi saa no de na fall under your suitability requirements. And now crampo say bia why application bida and now try and draw and answer with the false documents omo and also saa no also fall under your suitability requirements because it may be likely that your application will be refused because of saa deɛ na woyɛɛyɛ no. Nti saa nneɛma wei nyinaa no ɔmo hwɛ. But when it comes to a child, most of the time, akwadaa no a ɔte kurom ha no, they are dependent on a parent. Nti sɛ parents no ebi a onni nkrataa ɛna ɔpɛ sɛ ɔyɛ application ɛma ne ba deɛ a, ɔmo wɔ eligibility requirements a ɔmo hwɛ. Nti first of all, they are looking to see say akwadaa no a yɛawo no wɔ kurom ha a yɛka sɛ waspend 7 years of ne life ɛwɔ kurom ha no. Saa akwadaa no obetumi akyerɛ sɛ yɛwɔ no wɔ kurom ha anaa. That is under settlement for a person eligible for settlement under private life. Nti ɔno no saa no sɛ otumi kyerɛ sɛ akwadaa no yɛwɔ no wɔ kurom ha. Ne birth certificate no ɛkyerɛ sɛ yɛwɔ no wɔ kurom ha. Watena kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years. Into continuous residence no, wohwɛ yɛ Appendix FM a, I mean, most of the time, even now they have it under Appendix Continuous Residence. Continuous residence ne kyerɛ sɛ watena kurom ha mpɛmpɛnsoɔ bi na you haven't been absent anaasɛ womfiri kurom ha for 6 months or more so that they can say ebi a break bi abɛdam anaasɛ biribi saa. Nti sɛ wonim sɛ watena kurom ha na womfiri kurom hanom for 6 months or more deɛ, that is continuous residence. Anaasɛ wotena kurom hanom undi bɔne a ɔmo bɛka sɛ ebi a yɛma wo prison sentence for this period of time anaasɛ this period of time because ɛno nso saa no nso etumi ɛma wo continuous residence no ɛnyɛ continuous because wetumi akyerɛ ɔmo sɛ ebi a woyɛ biribi a afei deɛ prison sentence no ama gap bi abɛda wo continuous residence no so. But in terms of akwadaa deɛ, most of the time nkwadaa a ɔmo ndi 10 no are not of criminal age. Nti with them there wouldn't be anything of that sort. Nti when it comes to akwadaa wey di 7, usually the position is that saa akwadaa no ebetumi akyerɛ sɛ watena kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years. Nti what can show this? Ebi a akwadaa no or starting nursery ɔmo ma wɔ letter bi to show sɛ ɔbɛ starting nursery or starting primary school so ɔmo ma wɔ letters. Anakrampo sɛ akwadaa no da so ɛwɔ primary school nti wobetumi agye letter to show the time a ɔde started saa primary school no. Wobetumi agye GP letter to show say akwadaa no wa register no wɔ GP ne medical records no from the time a ɔyɛ baby no nyinaa kyerɛ sɛ na ɔda so ɛte UK kurom ha. And so once you've been able to show that, then of course you can apply for akwadaa no to be granted indefinite leave to remain as a child who was born in the UK. When it comes to akwadaa yɛnka sɛ ofiri amanɔne ɛna ɛɛba nti akwadaa no is under the age of 18 ebia ne maame ɛɛba no ɔde akwadaa no baeɛ na ebia ɔwɔ nkrataa nneɛma bi esisi ne akwan mu wɔntumi anyɛ ne nkrataa no whilst in the UK afei deɛ wehu sɛ ne ba no watumi atena UK kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years nti ebia te sɛ nyame kaeɛ na akwadaa no 85 sisi ano deɛ wabatena UK kurom ha for another 7 years nti wadi 12 nti maame no anaasɛ papa no a ɔde akwadaa no baeɛ no because ɔmahu sɛ watena UK kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years no ɔmo nso saa no nso ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo yɛ nkrataa no ɛma akwadaa no sɛ yɛhwɛ yɛ Appendix Private Life usually when it comes to settlement applications almost say a child who was born in the UK nti you can still make an application for leave to remain and I say 30 months and I say 2.5 ɛma akwadaa no a wabɛtena UK kurom ha a ofiri amanɔne aba no ɔno mmom no wobɛtumi ayɛ saa leave to remain application no ama no because akwadaa no sɛ wobɛtumi akyerɛ nko ara deɛ sɛ watena UK kurom ha for that 7 year period and it was a continuous period of residence ɔde tena UK kurom ha deɛ a then they will have to show say it will be unreasonable say wobɛtumi eyi akwadaa wei efiri UK kurom ha nti most of the time almost say nkwadaa so almost spend 7 years of their life in a certain place it means they have become accustomed to the way of life in that place and in that country nti to them no onim baby krona ofri ɛbaeɛ no because afei deɛ wabɛyɛ UK kurom ha ne kurom ɔkɔ school bibia ɔbɛyɛ bia no ɔyɛ ne te sɛ n'adamfofoɔ no ɔyɛ ebia extracurricular activities ebia ɔpɛ sports nti wehu ekrom ha as ne kurom ebi krampo a because of nneɛma a ɔyɛ no ɔpɛ sɛ ɔjoin other should I say musicians and other things to be able to continue to grow and develop in a certain area, maybe the creative arts and answer bibisa. So to them, no, ebia won't free Ghana no, only don't kai Ghana ho hweo. Deɛ onim ne sɛ ɔno deɛ ɔte kurom ha bibia ɔbɛyɛ bia ɛyɛ kurom ha nti sɛ woka sɛ ɛndeɛ ɔnkɔ Ghana deɛ a ɛndeɛ onim obia wɔ Ghana ne ho bɛkyerɛ no ebia kasa no kora mpo petri no ɔnte hwee anaa kora mpo sɛ ɔte kora mpo a ɔmpɛ sɛ ɔbɛka nti ɛnyɛ adeɛ a sɛ wo sɛ ɔnsan kɔ Ghana adeɛ a ɔbɛpɛ nti to the child no wabɛhu UK kurom ha as ne kurom nti most of the time because akwadaa no spending that continuous period of 7 years ɛwɔ kurom ha ne nti the Home Office is saying say so wobɛtumi akyerɛ nkwa deɛ sɛ watena UK kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years and then also shows say it will be unreasonable say akwadaa no yɛbɛyi no efiri kurom ha because of ebia cultural ties anaasɛ social ties a waforme a na sɛ yɛnka sɛ wadevelop whilst living in the UK ne nti it will be difficult for saa akwadaa no to be returned back to ne kurom a ne maame ne ne papa efiri anaasɛ yɛwɔ no no nti it's very important to be able to show it by way of evidence as well most of the time no because for settlement applications the number one thing that they require is birth certificates but young as lawyers no we don't just send a birth certificate we would send evidence to show our continuous residence as well but the whole year application na akwadaa no yanwo no wɔ kurom ha deɛ a it's very important that you go and see somebody who will be able to help you in terms of that application no and it's important so wobɛtumi akyerɛ nneɛma no a ɔmo hwehwɛ no because you are showing say akwadaa no ampa watena UK kurom ha for that continuous residence ebia ne school letters any in terms of whether it would be unreasonable for that child to be removed from the UK dear no so to make sure say ebia nneɛma a akwadaa no ɔde ne ho ahyehyɛ mu extracurricular activities the fact say ebia ɔpɛ ndwom to nti ebia the child is also entering into competitions and other things ebetumi akyerɛ sɛ akwadaa no say nneɛma say ni say ɛna ɔreyɛ, and they have seen the UK as part of their home. They know the UK to be their only home because ɔmo nkae crampo yɛwo ɔmo. It's very much a thing where, for instance, sorry and answer bibisana, you are able to show say, hey, this is the role a colano a play, was sorry, or yes, say, ni say. And I say if they are part of things within the community, some communities have centers and kola etumiko, they take part in activities that are being done in the community. You can add all those things to it to make them know say akola no, even though a young one wo krom ha no, akola no wabehu UK krom ha as no krom a ofri enya ade a se wo se on san kɔ no krom a obehu no krom no kasa no kra mpo no ɔnka bi nti kasa na ɔka no ɛyɛ borɔfo nko a nti patro bebree monhwɛ wei so na montumi ɛmfa nkrata no Emma Mebano. It's very important to show say when it comes to these applications, there's nothing that you can disregard. Into say bibi wo ho na ebia ugye say oh we crampo no enye hwe adehwe. You never know. It's better say only brenim for no ebeka na wakahwe say okay sa ade we a ebia meandwen say enye hwe emma akola no. It's something as simple as even sleepovers akola no ebia one na danfofo or moko on danfofo fie na ebia omo ye sleepover na the next um say holiday they do something similar again in another friend's house. All those things count. You have clubs like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, those sort of things. So omo ka ho bia, they help to show say akolawe they have formed some sort of community life within the UK. So it's very, very important. I mean, you may be we are not even interested. We don't even want our children to be involved until we don't even show say they are involved in certain things. But if there are clubs and yes, say maybe to say Girl Scouts, Crampo say, if there are things like that in the community, let them join, let them be a part of it, so that at least some way be now per letter if from hoa, then you can be able to show say, oh, omoye inyama way within Girl Scouts into your per se Girl Scouts for no extra letter my end to show say this is what the child is involved in. It's very important to make sure say and yet school kwa and akola no echo because say your school nkwa there it means say akola no they are not playing any role anywhere. It's and one say omo school asan be fie omo school asan be fie maybe asoro no unko bi crampo na yasem. They have to be very much involved within the community for them to know say they have formed those social ties, they formed those cultural ties, and therefore it is important say omo betumi enya nkrata no because omo ntumi emfiri ekrom ha enko bebia. When it comes to making sure say you are able to show this evidence, like I said, as much as possible, no, let them explore other things apart from say omo eco school, including extracurricular activities, any clubs, social clubs ewo honom. And as much as possible, no, so we hear letters and na on way to me are provided with the letters that will show say akolano say ni say and on also oh yeah. When it comes to inkola, obviously they are over the age of 18, yeah, then there's a completely different requirement altogether. But as long as the child is under 18, always to me say what's not UK Chrome have for that continuous period of 7 years, no, then it is likely that they will be granted a period of 30 months and I say 2.5 months to be able to remain in the UK. I know so when it comes to Nkofo a omo edi that period of have their life and I say over the age of 18 already less than 25, they can show evidence of living here for at least half their life and then have 5 years of residence. Until once the child is over the age of 18, say almost yes application now, they will be able to apply for 60 months, which is a direct period of 5 years straight away. And if they are able to show GNTR Home Office for no as omo settlement after a period of 5 years, then they can then apply for settlement at the age of 18 or over 18 but less than 25 years old. And also san also hope for those children who came into the UK under the age of 18 also. So it's very technical in the way that I'm explaining it, but at least so to me who in bringing for in regards to SAR applications where then it will help you understand it much better. Nti mɛgya wɔ hanom ma yɛtie na yɛtumi atoa so with questions anaasɛ nsɛmbisa a etiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ ɔmo wɔ.
Yo, Eunice means me that say with the education. What teaching when I say now what to boys you know one the crown. Am I understanding it? I clear. We will say I clear. Into me that see. Not just say. Sɛnea ɛtie biara baby a adwene kyerɛ me kakra ne sɛ akwalaa no yɛawo no wɔ ha. Like I have one question, but I'll ask that one after this. Yàwó no wɔ ha na n'awofoɔ no nni hwee. So ɔmo nni hwee menim sɛ dodoɔ no bi wɔ hɔ a na ɔne akwalaa ɔne obi a ɔwɔ asetena akɔwo. But here is the case a wei ɔmo mmienu nyinaa ɔmo nni hwee. Na sɛ ɔmo awo akwalaa no ɛwɔ kurom ha. Akwalaa no yɛwo no wɔ kurom ha nko ara deɛ birth certificate deɛ yɛbɛyɛ bi ama no. Anaa are there any occasion a yɛbɛka sɛ awo akwalaa no wɔ ha ba ne maame ne papa nni biribi nti ɛnyɛ birth certificate obi bisa that question na ayɛ me nyaa kakra ɛwɔ hɔ saa anaa it's not once the child is born here or sɛ ɛyɛ aha birth cert ɛde ma no.
Yeah, definitely. Nti so or UK airport, I mean, let's say you get back at the airport na any hospital crampo na what I say because wawo UK no obese wo ye birth set ama akwala no. Yes, you can go ahead and do so. I mean, enye nkratasem na ye de register with GP and answer nkratasem na ye call hospital. Say wotua NHS kana omo de bill no ebebro. As long as you have given birth to the child on UK soil, you
Soil
can
deɛ.
definitely go ahead and say because my work will chrome her me pese make registry, and the nurses or the midwives will advise
The
you
mouth.
as to what to do. So they will tell you, say, so when your baby at that, then you can register your child at that local council and I say local authority. Because every local authority has a registration department and I say a place of registration, whether it's to do with a birth or a death, they will have that place of registration. I over to me, I call register Akolano. So when to me and register Akolano birth certificate, most GPs will tell you they need the birth certificate. So when to me and yeah, then you wouldn't be able to register with the GP. So when to me and yeah registration, now want to me in fact school because the
So
school
it's
needs
true.
evidence of the birth certificate. So there are so many other places that need birth certificates. And so want to me
Yeah.
can say, oh yeah, birth certificates no. And
And
it is necessary documents are almost here. And see, they would use that as evidence in terms of ABA identification because ABA no any passports. And see, the birth certificate is also another form of identification.
agent.
Yes.
Okay. Yɛate aseɛ. So, second question whereby wokyerɛkyerɛ mu but mpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ me bie so kakra ma nkurɔfoɔ bi a ɔmo ante aseɛ saa. Whereby mo mmienu mo ba kurom ha even though maybe ɛnyɛ wo mo mmienu mpo ebia baako ba as a visitor na wode nyinsɛn ne baeɛ na wabɛwo nti wawo nko ara deɛ wobɛnya na sɛ akwalaa no nso ɔno yɛwoo no na one no na ɛbaa visit Only akola ne ba mbia through whatever scheme it was no. Wotumi aba ha to say visitor only uba na aba. Bo ba e no hu say sɛne awɔ ne wɔ no awɔ no wɔ mu na mo ɔde kama nti mo anya nkɔ ɔne woba ne nyinaa o mo ba visit na mo anya nkɔ because mo ba holiday yɛma kwan wɔ Ghana no na ɔne ne ba ne nyinaa mo kɔ gye visitors visa de ba holiday ɛwɔ ha ɔmo ba holidays no so ɔmo abɛtena mu a ɔmo ankɔ biom ɛma sisi akora ne nya 7 wenyim sɛ wenya 7 years wɔ kurom ha ɔmo ankɔ nti ɔno nso saa no obetumi ayɛ such application ama yɛtumi de ama no anaa.
Nti akola yɛka sɛ yɛwo no ɛwɔ amanane ansa na ɔba UK Chrome ha deɛ. Unfortunately, ɔntumi nyɛ application for indefinite leave to remain because Appendix Private Life ɛmma ho kwan saa. Nti when you look at Appendix Private Life from PL 3.1 going, no, it talks about obia or UK Chrome ha. Obetumi akyerɛ sɛ watena UK Chrome ha for a continuous period of 7 years.
7 years.
And they have to also show said they have also built some cultural ties and
Ties.
family ties or even social ties here in the UK where almost said it will be unreasonable for such child no to leave the UK. And to say when to me and share say you will work home had dear, unfortunately you will not be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain straight away. All kind of the
Different.
2.5 year route, 30 months no. Yes. Because
Okay.
for one ebia wa yan wo krom ha enti obaye no na wa ye pinin kakra ebia na we di 7 krampo ewie deda but you have to live another 7 years e wo krom ha enti sisi a we di 14 enti eno no sa no se o chere se what na you krom ha for that continuous period of 7 years there then we are going to look at not just the continuous residence of 7 years but also would it be unreasonable for you to leave the UK and
Okay.
yes. And see, they have to consider all of that as well. And that's why it's a very important say you want to an away application in renew
Oh
for
yeah.
a
I
year.
am.
The case laws to also back that effect that you've lived here for that continuous period of 7 years and it will be unreasonable say yeah because free a chrome ha because to you no dear UK chrome ha abaye wo chrome into unshada any
Baby.
chrome now free no. I mean, I know people who came here when they were even 9 years old. Okay, so muke tree crown to minka. um to most children after a period of 7 years, I mean psychologically it is said that the child has now become accustomed to a chrome no into they don't view that other place as their home but rather they would view baby Omo as their home or their permanent home. Into it's one thing to point out say it doesn't matter say Omo indefinite straight away you just have to show the reason why it will be unreasonable for them to leave na Omo to me at the sa 30 months and I said 2.5 no at the ama and I know say when it comes to 2.5 no dear nkofo complaining say sika na ewo mu of course it is a lot to pay but if you are doing it the first time there you can do a fee waiver to show say when you juma in enya ade a obetumi atua nipa na obo awon so ensumi enya sasika no emma wo nti pe say omoma wo fee waiver no. Yeah.
Okay, Eunice, yeah, that's it. Maybe a telephone lines not to whilst we still continue with our education. Maybe not so bisa question be we can call and then ask your question. 0208123116 and also wait to me after 07399208468. Wait to me switch your voice note or WhatsApp only. It was 07596620154. Obi si me bobɔ numbers ne ntɛmntɛm dodo. Okay, ɛwɔ screen is so nti na wobɛtumi sɛ wohwɛ yɛn wɔ Facebook, wohwɛ yɛn wɔ YouTube a wobɛtumi ehu wɔ hɔnom na mebie na wetumi ebisa. So mewɔ first question wɔ ha a obi atest de abrɛ me. or yes, school migrant no mobile, but mobile no. Ọmụ abɛtena mu ayɛ adwuma na sɛ sɛ ɔmo awo akwalaa. Ɔmo wo akwalaa no ɔmo nnim nneɛma because ɔmo si new nhyehyɛe a aba ne sɛ wontumi mfa dependent ɛnto wo nkrataa so biom. Nti na ɔmo bisa sɛ ɔmo baa with old yɛfrɛ ne sɛn old law no. Ɔmo nso na afei na ɔmo awo akwalaa no after the new policy ne baeɛ no, ɔmo betumi ayɛ asetena de ama akwalaa no anaa because sisi akwalaa no nni hwee na ɔmo nhu ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo tu kwan this year nti deɛ na ɔsɛ ɔmo yɛ de ma akwalaa no deɛ na ɔsɛ ɔmo yɛ. Lawyer Eunice, nhyehyɛe bi wɔ hɔ ma ɔmo anaa?
Nti sɛ woba a kurom ha as a care worker
Mm,
anaasɛ senior care worker na woka sɛ woba hanom before 11th March 2024 deɛ a, yes,
mm,
wobɛtumi ayɛ application ama akwadaa no a wowoo no ɛndɛ a.
okay.
Because obviously when you came it was the old rules that applied nti so akwala no ewo krom ha dia, you can still make an application for that child to be added on as a dependent on your skilled worker visa. It is in
Mm,
regards to nkofo yen can say omoba hanom after the 11th of March 2024. Omuna usually omoka say if you came under the occupation code specifically for care worker and you are saying say you want to be able to make an application for your dependents there, unfortunately because of the changes to the rules ninti untumi emfa mo enka ho as a dependent nti the distinction is for those who came before 11th March 2024. Yeah.
wow. Nti na kyerɛ sɛ follow up question based on that na kyerɛ sɛ wo no wobaeɛ te sɛ nea wobaeɛ after the 11th March no nti wobaa just a care worker one person na because wo dependent ntumi nka wo ho nti ɔyɛ ɔbaa ɛna ɔbaeɛ gya wayɛ adwuma 1 year mu nie na wakɔfa nyinsɛn ɔbaa bɛwo in 2 months time 2 months time na ɔbɛwo akwaraa na ɔbɛwo no sɛbio ne papa a ɔne ne nyim sɛn no nso ɔno nso ɔni bi o ɛm sɛ ɔdɔ dadaa bi ɔno nso te ha ɔni bi na kyerɛ sɛ akwaraa na yɛbɛwo no no yɛbɛwo no no yɛntumi apply ma no because you can't depend on that particular visa ɛyɛ clear saa nti na kyerɛ sɛ akwaraa no what will happen to akwaraa no?
The good thing about, I mean, UK Chrome Handle is the fact that when you're trying to register with institutions like schools and I said GPA, it's
Mhm.
not about one kratasem. You
Nkrataa.
can
Mhm.
still register because they are thinking about the human being first before
Mm.
your status. And
Mm.
see, that's one good thing I like about the UK. It's not as if they are coming to ask you what immigration status do you have before we register you at the GP, and answer
Mm.
what immigration status do you have before we take your child on in this school. So
Mm.
that is one good thing that I always say is very very good about this country. So if for instance wawo akolano na untumi enye inkrata emma akolano because ebia wo akolano and as a woba UK Chrome hano you came after the 11th of March 2024 and so under the rules no because you
Mhm.
came under that specific occupation code no you cannot add anybody else as a dependent. Go
Mhm.
on and then get your settlements. When you have settlements, I will to me I and Katana ama akwala.
Mhm. Nti akwaraa no deɛ ɔde ne bɛtena ɔnni hwee saa wotu kwan ɔntumi ne ntu kwan because hey UK kurom ha nika sɛ ɔdɔfo a ahoma so mema happy Valentine's Day wafrɛ si yɛ program no so bɛkyɛ bisa wo question no na yɛhu wofrɛfrɛ hemfa?
Oh, hello. Hello. Eunice. My first is London.
Okay, ma yɛntio.
All right. Okay. Because I'm Madam.
Okay.
It's about your friends in new UK uh, law about regarding citizenship. So I just want to know, so your friends does it apply to your friends saying, go for 10-year route near a
kakra la Eunice kan ya metumi abɔ ne tew sɛ sɛ 20 years root no kra no sɛ wenya na wamba kurom ha legally a na kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo a ɔmo ntumi ankyerɛ sɛ ɔmo bra kurom ha legally no ɔmo na ɛbɛyɛ affect ɔmo. But sɛ wokyerɛ sɛ wofa airport ɛma wo visitors visa na wode fa airport ba kurom ha na sɛ woatena mu a 20 years na woanya a ɛneɛ wonni haw. But sɛ woantumi ankyerɛ sɛ wobra kurom ha legally bi mo de train ɛba bi mo de nsuo na ɛfa nsuo so bi mo de ba ka ne sɛn yɛ smuggle ɔmo ne ɛde ɔmo wura mu through the European countries na bi mo bebree nti ɔmo saa no sɛ wontumi nkyerɛ point of entry ne say wure mu legally a omo na itumi affect you. Like Eunice my idea na say
Why are there pa? Yes. It's a conform bridge say ebi am I overstay then be affect me but sister say what to me extra nkwa say ebi am by krom na me was visitors visa and na me was student visa and na me was skilled worker visa but e be wu ye my hwehwe but na san nya sitting na me dey nya indefinite there obetumi aye o nationality application.
what I say? Oh, they are so. Yo, I don't follow my see my intio. So no so ne de na article. Yenko ye ni obetumi asa frɛ 0208123116 na 1618. Good morning Tess. I say please I want to know when I can apply for my son born in the EU. He came to UK when he was 3 months old and he's now 8 years old. Thanks. Sɛ nka ɛnɛ program no sɛ de sɛ test ɛkɔma wo paa nti Eunice mmerɛ bɛ na obetumi apply ama ne ba no sɛ wanya 7 years na wɔ ha nti obetumi ayɛ ama no.
Yeah. Papa home grandpa because also Akolane 8 years old and all by 3 months. We did just 3 months old. In see so person yeah application for 6 now. I'm Akolane dear. They can do the application straight away. Unfortunately, test one be wa Akolane wa ha. Akolane did 3 months and son out the neighbor. Naka ye wona wo krom ha dear. Naka na wetumi ayɛ indefinite no straight away but sɛ yɛanwo akwadaa no wɔ ha deɛ a then unfortunately wobɛayɛ application no na ɔmo ama no saa 30 months anaasɛ 2.5 a da bi a yɛka ho asɛm no nti ɛno ɛna yɛde bɛma saa akwadaa no a wɔwɔ no wɔ EU kurom saa koro no so yeah.
Yeah, ubetumi afre 0208123116 and 07399208468. Pacho yeti order for one so.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For work for the community.
Yes, sir, that's
I application or chance of a couple one and document. Is there which me upload it online and I said so the in or the couple one and
Medem say baby e born san de okwa omoju kakra no my ama but Eunice is there any way or no abetumi upload everything online and san wakwa na.
Yes. And see, you have free appointments and you have paid appointments, including additional services like uploading documents. And so oh yeah, well, biometric appointments now which receive free appointments there, then it means the onus is on you to upload all of your documents. And so you have to upload consent form, evidence to show say you meet the requirements for the application oh yeah, and if you have your passport copies you add your passport copies as well as your biometric way permit and answer card copies and so into the onus is on you to upload unless you are booking the appointments with additional service and say oh booking appointments no with additional services to say more uploaded documents name out there, then you can take all the documents to the center with you. Patrick, may you question I know.
free like link on our website on my which me upload.
It's the same place you booked the appointment. In say Ombeka say you've booked your appointment. Are you ready to upload documents?
So my will be the assigned to why the area of my date the time. So is there any way which me
It's a, how did you book the appointments for biometrics?
oh yeah, no, or your application online or you need no choosing for the
Eh,
free one.
Yeah, into say yeah, TLS contact website no so no yeah.
That's what that is. Okay, that one I can't really tell it, I don't know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because it's only the TLS contact services unless Nipakono a application for like the first 2.5 years leave. For instance, oh
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
application on human rights basis. They would usually ask you to book a biometric appointment with the Home Office itself. No, were just 8 centers around the UK. And since ABI your first 2.5 year, they have only 8 centers you can book with. And so once you've booked with your nearest center, no, they will then send you an email to upload your documents. And since that email, no, Ebert show said there is a portal link, register. And so once you have created a password for that portal link, you can upload your documents. So if that is her first 2.5 na all year dear, they will definitely send an email once payment has been made. As soon as the payments no ever to no, they will send an email saying say so to me upload the documents using this link.
Okay. In the review,
Yeah.
then you in the review.
Okay, so whichever way it is, she can either go back on the TLS contact website to upload and answer on the email name for the portal link.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
God bless. God bless.
Yo, yɛda ase papa. Wonhyɛeɛ. Mehu sɛ wonhyɛeɛ. Hyɛ ma me. Yo, meda ase. Meda ase. Yɛnkɔ yɛnim na the numbers again to call 0208 123 1016 and 073 9920 8468. Ɔdɔfo a wahoma so mpatwɔ yi tie o. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mpatwɔ me ma happy birthday na yɛtie wo frɛfrɛ he.
Me bacho me favorite second.
Yo, my kasa no yɛnkɔ.
Me bacho me chia one lawyer Eunice na.
Yɛgye wo so.
Me bacho me question is me indefinite HC me passport no. Ghana passport no. Na ma apply for British citizenship. Ma kwa akoye me biometrics ni bibia. Buy. Every year say me kwa akoye no time limit ni bia na say me ntwen ma be a naturalization in go through and touch on the question on.
Okay.
Oh, Debbie, so I hear a naturalization application in be in say who yes so by sign yet no time limit application. It is not a requirement. As long as you are able to show say oh what fable and now say indefinite leave to remain dear your application for nationality meets the requirements are almost into. You don't need to go and do a no time limit. No time limit I am from conform person naturalization. No.
Because of e-visa na abanity.
Oh yeah, e-visa. So omoma British certificate say what by British you don't need an e-visa. In Sinkoform you're British, no, they don't need e-visas.
Now no main train confirm say naturalization almost be approved.
Yes.
Sir.
Because almost approved. That's so pending a application at the session and buy.
Yes, so you have to
Whatever.
wait till you get your British certificate. Nti so pay juma na bia we for no ebisa wasetina you will still use your indefinite leave to remain passport no until you are granted your naturalization certificate no you will still have to use your passport no as evidence of indefinite leave to remain. Until you will have to wait. You will have to wait. Once you get your British passport, now with the amount with dreaming for ne obi biara will be bisao for will status with UK Chrome.
If I try me that.
Yes, yeah, that's a share program name, mama. Why?
If I try my.
Okay, thank you. Yo, when she bisa question wa ha, me reading na yenhwe. Or see, please, good morning. Mami picking up. But where am I picking? Hold on, mommy. Why? Or see, please, a child was born automatically British to a British citizen's father at a time at a time both parents were married. They have divorced. Mother wants to renew child's passport, but she has no current passport details for the father. Father cannot be traced. Can the father old passport, expired passport details be used to renew? Or how can she renew the passport without the father? The form asks for father's British passport details. Hey, ebe yiri.
Yes. Issue where there, I know a lot of people who constantly go through it because
Hmm.
omo ye in Kratano, Emma Akolano, they were
Hmm.
not married or they were not in a serious relationship. And when they say yawo Akolano, pacho ye
Hmm.
passport nema Akolano. Ebedru renewal no ebia
Hmm.
omo ne papa na enkasa bio. And
Hmm.
see, they don't know say it is a
Hmm.
requirement that the father or the person who is a British citizen who applied for the child has to
Hmm.
go on and do the application again for the child.
Hmm.
And so this
Hmm.
is also a lesson for awofo omo ne British citizen ebe wo na ebi ebeba renewal na omo say hey
Hmm.
me baby papa no me yen kasa o meja ne
Hmm.
life amano. All
Hmm.
of that means that it will affect you when once you're making the application for the child because
Hmm.
it was dependent on Akolano Papa nti na ọmọdé British
Emma.
passport Emma no. So even
Hmm.
if the passport expires, he still has to go on and do the application for the child. It's you
Hmm.
don't say, oh, it's just renewal. In bebree, ọmọ fra, wọ́n say,
Yes, yes.
ɛyɛ renewal kɛkɛ nsa de nti na ɔmo hia papa no mene
Sure.
ni no hɔ bio memfrɛ no kora mpo mene baabi a ɔwɔ and I'm like
Hmm.
it's not just a renewal it is
You are. Hmm.
on that
Anointing. Hmm.
yes ɛno nti na ɔmo de maa akwadaa no nti sɛ
Hmm.
woka sɛ afei wo nkwa na wohwɛ akwadaa no a the British um high, His Majesty's passport
Hmm.
office they need evidence to show say you have sole responsibility for the child and in certain
Hmm.
circumstances so also winning baby a papa no wɔ, na ebi a papa no or na nkasa akɔyɛ ne British passport no munim sɛ akwadaa ne papa ɛwɔ hanom say na only consent from akwadaa ne papa the passport office will tell you to go and get a
Yes.
court order that says that you
Hmm.
have sole responsibility for the child. Into say, oh, court system no more court order there. Then you're looking at 1 year, 2 years plus to be able to get that court order to show say
Hmm.
yes, to show say you have sole responsibility for that child and therefore you are making
Hmm.
this application for passport for that child.
Child.
It's, don't
Okay.
take it as oh, it's just a renewal. It's not just a
Hmm.
yeah.
Bala ni sɛ ba ne saa na sɛ time a mekɔ renew me ne papa ne ni hɔ biom ba ebi adom nti menya me indefinite a can I still go ahead and do it based on me indefinite na menya no and I ɛbɛyɛ different application altogether.
I mean, with the passport office, because they have that information on their system
Information
that it
already.
was based on the child's father, therefore
Mm-hmm.
they will be making their application on that basis. Unless you are saying, say, because the child's father is no longer in the picture, you
Mm-hmm.
want to go to the home office and do a registration for the child. Into
Ah.
because of Enunti, you want to basically register the child as your on the
Mm-hmm.
basis that you have now received settlement. But
Mm-hmm.
the Home Office will then have to give you a letter to say, because of A, B, and C, we've
Mm-hmm.
made a decision that the child's parent is settled. You can go on and apply for passport for this child on this basis. Because if
Mm-hmm.
passport office is not sure about something, they will always ask you to go back to the home office.
Hey,
It's
into
for
they just
them,
say
no.
round the
Yes,
circle.
yes,
Other
yes,
yeah, so other for one mason pacho. Yet
yes.
you work as a frame, me and Tonka. Good morning. Yeah, Joso. Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Na afei deɛ wɔbɛtena ha wɔanya ɔba no deɛ wɔde tu afei wɔbɛtena wɔnyɛ ne indefinite bia now no in view of the new way afei afei mepɛ sɛ ɔkɔyɛ ne british citizenship british citizenship a ɔmbɛpanish no anaasɛ wobɛtumi astand wobɛtumi argue sɛ ɔbaa no ɔyɛ akɔfo a ne parents no ɔmoyɛ bɔne nti they need
Hey.
Oh, I feel sorry for Akolano. I mean, as a human being, you would want to think, say, because Akolani parents, no, and born abroad of Saninsi,
See,
the
but who the man san we answer? Keke na eka say ya na. Yeah, Mala Eunice in my answer. Now, I feel the second question at us.
Inti, I mean, any human being will empathize with Akolano because any fault and or deba a chrome her. Ni parents and a train e. It's different if the parents brought them on the basis say they are EU national. In say bia me Italian ni me bano because I no free fee in so no kita Ghanaian passports and yeah de be UK chrome her into no only assets na and me me settlement me yeah be and so a man no obviously we can argue that based on the withdrawal agreements will ban now or yeah a bar of an EU citizen there or by UK Chrome Hano because of the previous regulations that have now been enshrined under our new withdrawal agreements Ninti. No, no, so yeah can say on also assets now because on the EU you know and then into because of that they should grant her citizenship. But if your case is totally different because ABA only family member of an EU national dear, then in that case, unfortunately, the way the law has been written, that child will normally be refused citizenship because one fact and papa and found back UK Chrome her. Into the stance is that that child will normally be refused citizenship and I say naturalization because they are now 18 or over. If they were still a child there and their parents know able to me I can say or no it was settlement or person or register a colano. But even in that scenario, um you have to obviously let the caseworker use their discretion because in that scenario you want the child to also be able to make their stance say my parents no or the me buy me said that any asita me to me actually say me the visit and a back from her but me person me to me in British citizenship not to say me mommy and I say me papa into patcho muhu me mobo na me to me in citizenship, no. And last I was explaining at the beginning, you have to show compelling and compassionate circumstances. The NCIS omode asetena no emma.
Okay. Yeah. Keke, second question na yen ko obi nkrofo gina line echi.
Oh, okay. The second question is yeah, when we how we did 7 now, yeah, then it's only in the Ghana for that time, no. Now we have so much now for what in 10 years and I did before we to me apply when you win that place or no indefinite when you be about family and not correct. So when you when the best I already say bye back as a visitor. Na officer come back. Na apply say. Na be 7 years we have a France for
Okay.
not that just stay na.
Hey. Na so odi 7 years we was na question more than 20 years ana. Eh. Mhm. Mhm.
Ghana.
Okay. Okay.
When you are baba, maybe when you with 30 years or 20 whatever years.
Okay. Okay.
Baba as a visitor.
Okay.
We have a funny
Ah.
to me
Okay.
aside. The service that I had to put here, no family.
Case way there. Case that way there. La Eunice, then you walk on.
As simple as possible. If the child was born after 1st January 1983, they will have to show say they lived here the first 10 years of their lives to register as British. I mean, the law is not retrospective. Into say, say na yawo wo krom ha, what's na krom ha, o san free hanom esan bae, and na o san ko biom. I mean, they are not interested in the story you have to tell them. They want to know, do you meet the requirement or not? And see, if you are not able to show, say, ABI, you lived the first 10 years of your life in the UK, then unfortunately, you cannot apply for British citizenship because you are already an adult anyway. But you can still apply to register if you can show that you lived the first 10 years of your life in the UK.
In
And
the
say,
UK.
yeah.
Ah.
So,
You.
thank you.
You're welcome. Keke that's it. Me wo voice note bi nso wɔ ha. Membo 90. Ene de mmere no nso kwa na ɛkɔ wa me pick hold on na membo voice note na afi menka me text message back.
Me pese me ko say me de me ma no sorry, good morning BWF. Me de me ba ha 2021 and I me de me ma me ba me pese me ko say yeah, almost na ha for 7 years and I bit me apply indefinite leave to remain ama or mana say yes 5 years. This is here na me banti me sure the mokai mo betimi asisu bi mama me ana ye wo mo Ghana na ye de o mo ba hase intino or mo betimi apply for indefinite leave to remain after 5 years and after 7 years. That's it.
Okay. Yo, la Eunice, oba late nti no wanti education ni bebree. Mpacho de na e wo kama no.
Okay, and see, in regards to akola wo no amonane ansa na wo de neba na yeah ka say so to me chere say akola no was spending 7 years of their life e wo UK chrome ha. He or she cannot apply for settlements because young will not ever chrome her. Instead, they would have to show, say, it will be unreasonable, say, Yabeka say, Akolano, and free UK a chrome hanum. Instead, you will have to show why it is unreasonable, say, Akolano, Yabe you free UK chrome her. And so that was what I was explaining to us listeners and viewers. And say, when it comes to Akola, young one will chrome her dear the rules are slightly different. They cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain. Yeah.
Yo, odofo wa homa so mpacho mayenti onka.
Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nancy.
Oje so.
The patron will general vice speaker.
Okay.
The patron they will back me a soul period.
Okay.
Me will back. And the band school. Okay, we got a balance so I did leave me. Crater. Now, the band school. And teacher for one say, or more you be participating or to go. And I teacher for beside the question say, I'm not happy.
Hey.
I'm not happy, no. And almost start to listen to some questions, on better or better.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm also happily with her, Diana Cosimo. Around 2 o'clock, call from school, they said, Mom and the father. So, man, cash you. To me, I just went there like a normal, I said, the father. Now, bear 7, Homa police, but the car. And almost say, a colonity was of the bush.
Hey.
I don't know what questions went on in class from the teacher, man. Actually, they're going to almost say a colonity board. my bonita was rooming then so for my faculty. Yes, the case Omodia Kolana or whoever for starting Grom said Omodia Section 70 Police Protection Act or more no boy. It is now the court case today. It is not come here a bit of general advice. Just allowed to ask questions. Now Kolana is 2022.
Oh, wafa sɛ nka wei deɛ na sɛ wohyɛ da frɛ lawyers for no na yɛnyɛ extensive way because I'm thinking more of, say advice be cry shouldn't be on air. And now only me nyadwene. Because this shouldn't be a 2 minutes answer for you. So
Is it right for the teachers to ask the questions? Is it right for the police to call the police and the police can take the child from me straight away? That is a bit of a little quarter.
Patrick, what did you saying?
o de monfa ne din nte na on contact o.
In terms of this family issue, there is a strict, should I say, policy by the courts that when it comes to family issues, it should be kept confidential. In terms of information, whether it's from you or from the court, it should all be kept confidential. So, because this is a family issue, I will say to you, please call us privately, and we cannot discuss this further online because it's due to that child and nuntina or the same way into most times when it even comes to children cases they keep them anonymous because of privacy issues. And see, I will say it's best if you call after the program.
Brako fie sɛ wobisa sɛ is it right sɛ teachers no bebisa akwalaa ne questions a yɛwɔ biribi te sɛ policy bi te sɛ prevent no is not only just meant for ɔmo a suicide bombers ne saa nkurɔfoɔ no how to act first ne adeade but with school policy ɛna san sɛ mewɔ school nti na meka saa wei aka ho no school policies question say akwalaa bi raise issue like concern na first akwalaa ne interest ehia enti no whoever is involved no also put akwalaa ne interest first. So as to whether yebebisa akwalaa ne question anaasɛ yɛmbisa no question no ɔmo ntumi ɔmo nka nkyerɛw ɛna yɛ confidentiality na lawyer Eunice nso kaeɛ no involve akwalaa ne nti no there are some of the things ɔmo nka ba yɛ question yɛka sɛ yɛbisa akwalaa question a yɛmbisa akwalaa yɛmputu I don't know how to explain it better here but yɛmputu question no te sɛ yɛmfidi akwalaa no questions a na yɛmpɛ answers a yɛhwehwɛ efiri akwalaa no but there's a way questions are being asked these victims no any the expected answers a ɔmo bɛma nti mbia sɛ wadwen yɛ ɔsɛm bi a yɛahyɛ da aka ahyɛ akwalaa n'ano sɛ ɔnka sei anaasɛ biribi a ɛnte saa menim sɛ wagye ɛwɔ ne akwalaa no ɛka kyerɛ no akwalaa no wadi mfie sɛn we de kafra na frɛ lawyers no after the program sɛ well woyɛ fie nipa nti frɛ mo na ɛne ɔmo nkasa why yɛda ase yo yɛgye wo so papa yɛgye wo so yɛgye wo so okay bye producer menim sɛ ne yɛn lawyer Annie wɔ hɔ no mo a na ɔde the English version no bɛma yɛn but I had one question online and producer mpatro de to so ma me a na menkan na afei deɛ yɛn sɔre ɛnkɔ nti wei free Nana Etuahene or say please how can a parent prove that it will be unreasonable for their child to leave UK? What evidence to provide, please? A child with indefinite leave to enter based on their parent who is settled or British, it is unreasonable for them to leave UK if they have lived in the UK for 2 years or leave. Child have other siblings who are British and born in the UK. Nti the question is, lawyer Eunice, who answer where we are not mama lawyer Annie at the English version or at the aba.
Okay, so I think say Nana Etiahene, if I'm understanding your question properly, this child is not a child who was granted indefinite leave to remain. Eyakwala only shre. But if you are asking about a child who was granted indefinite leave to remain, usually if a child has been granted indefinite leave to remain, they wouldn't need to show any unreasonableness test because they have indefinite leave to remain. Nti omo wa afebor na enye afe na omo bepe nkrata because omo de nkrata no ama omo ewie. Nti eno ane say omo train for time a omo embre ebeso for naturalization as a registration no mo aye. But say ye ka akola a oni hwe oni asetena bia oni indefinite. Nti asa akola no ye de ne free amanone ebia ne parents eba as students ne be parents the visitors visa na eba ye whichever visa they came with akola no so any ne parents no na eba ye sa akola no ne parents renew ono anase omo nkrata no omo amfa no anka ho bi intensisi ano akola no eni hwe nti sa akola no obeye den no na yɛreka sɛ wɔbɛtumi akyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ under 18 na watena UK kurom ha for that continuous period of 7 years na ɔbɛtumi ayɛ application for 2.5 no and they will have to show that it will be unreasonable. Nti unreasonableness no ɛyɛ test a most of the courts would usually use in order to decide most cases in regards to human rights. In Senono Sano, you have to prove that the child has been involved in ABI and their community. They formed a social and cultural ties here in the UK. And yet said, Omoko school keke, normal betina fie. They have to be involved in other things such as clubs, extracurricular activities, sorry, or other things that you think that you can let your child be involved in. I mean, when the Olympics came, there were so many clubs that sprang up because they wanted the children to be sporty. So things like that, I know they still go on. Into they can obviously make your child involved in other things apart from just school, no, and then that will show that a nonti and I say akolano because we're building these social ties, these cultural ties. We who UK Chrome ha as new Chrome. And yeah, they obesan akọ back to Ghana. Kasa no krampo onte nti ye pese akola no moma no asetena e wo UK Chrome ha. Nti those are the kind of things that you will need to show. Yeah.
Okay, lawyer Eunice said that. Me invite your sister, lawyer Annie, to give us the English version of the program. Good morning, lawyer Annie.
Good morning to all our viewers and listeners, and happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day as well. So, the topic for today was, can my child apply for indefinite leave having lived in the UK for a continuous period of 7 years? And we mainly looked at Appendix Private Life, in particular PL 3.1, which talks about the residence requirements when it comes to a child when they're applying for indefinite leave to remain based on their private life. So if the child was born in the UK, you'd provide the child's birth certificate and you'd have to prove that the child has lived continuously in the UK. So there is a requirement of continuous residence whereby you basically would have to show that your child has lived continuously in the UK, as in there are no significant gaps in their stay within the UK. So normally, continuous residence can be broken if, for example, the applicant has been convicted of a crime or an offense and they have been imprisoned, or there is a deportation order in place, or any type of removal directions. And as Lawyer Eunice said, this normally wouldn't apply to a child who's applying for indefinite leave to remain, because they're under the age of 10, and so normally they wouldn't be subject to, they wouldn't be be convicted of a crime, so that wouldn't normally apply. So what you just have to make sure is that your child hasn't been outside of the UK for more than 180 days within any 12-month period, because if they are out of the UK for more than let's say 180 days in a 12-month period, that would break continuous residence. So you have to make sure that, let's say if your child was born in 2017, that you can prove that they have lived continuously in the UK for 7 years. So that would be 2017 to, let's say, 2024. So to prove continuous residence, you would provide letters to show that your child indeed has been living in the UK. So if your child goes, at some point went to nursery, or they're currently going to primary school, and you've received any letters, those would help, because the letters would be in their names and they would be dated as well. Or even if you have any GP letters, you can rely on that, or even your child's medical history would be helpful as well, because it would state, every time that your child has gone for appointments, and the dates would be there as well. So if you can prove that your child has been in the UK continuously for 7 years, then you would be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain for them. And even if your child, was born outside of the UK, but then they came into the UK and they have still lived here for, like, let's say they're under the age of 18, but they've still lived in the UK continuously for 7 years, you can also submit an application for them. You just have to show that it would be unreasonable for them to leave the UK, or for them to be expected to leave the UK. So you'd have to show that they have formed some type of ties to the UK, and that they no longer have any ties to their home country. So let's say you're from Ghana, your child is from Ghana as well, and your child has lived here for 7 continuous years, and your child, let's say, doesn't speak the language at all, that might help your case. But in terms of evidence, you would show that your child is involved in the community. So if your child just goes to school here, I mean, you would need more evidence than your child just going to school. So if your child is involved in any type of extracurricular activities, that would really help your case. Or if your child plays a role in, let's say, they go to church and they play an active role in their church, let's say they're in the child choir, or they're part of the Sunday school, you can rely on that. Or even if they are part of any scout teams, or they have friends in the UK, you can rely on all of that as well, to show that the UK is your child's main home, and that they have established a private life here. So just to conclude, it's very important that when it comes to these type of applications, that you can show that your child has lived continuously in the UK for 7 years, and that they have established a private life. You have to make sure that you allow your child to kind of explore, so that they don't just go to school, that they're part of other that they're involved in, let's say, extracurricular activities, as that would help with this your case, to show that they have formed a community within the UK. So that's just a quick summary for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawyer Annie. Tiefoɔ no ahwɛfoɔ ɛm sɛ aha na mmerɛ bɛma yɛn ho kwan na yɛmfa adwumadie no mbɛdu. Na mɛbisa Lawyer Eunice ɔwɔ some last question bi last way note bi ɔde bɛma yɛn a, na afei asɔre yɛn nan so akɔ. Nti Lawyer Eunice, deɛ na ɔde bɛgya yɛn ansa na yɛasɔre akɔ?
That's a bit my yeti and shada enya asem fufrobia. But I know say as time goes on, things will be changing. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I almost say almost person almost sa fees no for nationality applications, and now we've seen that also under Immigration Illegal Migration Act of 2023, and so they've also enforced certain things in regards to those who will not be allowed to apply for citizenship. Obi ka nasem, minya me indefinite. Obi ka say, hey, patro, imonya nentem na munya nationality application no because a chrome had the nyema esisa as quickly as you change your clothes into an nentem na your nationality application. Somebody might be sitting here watching and thinking, minimanka me nationality application in Temara because I dare way ever me ni inyama ebekyerɛ sɛ me ba krom ha even with visitors visa nti sisi a mɛyɛ ne den as much as possible sɛ wonya opportunity sɛ woyɛ biribi a na woayɛ ne ntɛm na woatumi ayɛ mɛntwetwe wo nan ase ebia oh meni sika sei ni sei o mɛtwɛn kakra before you know it, time is passing you by, and then laws are also changing. Into say yeah programs where na some of why it is because we want your own good as well. Into as much as possible, when you get the information, do what is necessary. If you need to make applications, please do so as quickly as possible so that things like this don't come and interfere with the plans that you've made. Um, this is just a word of caution to Nkofra Omutie and Nasa Nkofra Omo. I hope say this Valentine's Day too will also be a special weekend to show love to all those around you, and like I said, not just family and friends. And see, we will see you again once again next week. We'll have a blessed weekend.
Yo, Lioness, yes, yɛda ase sɛ yɛto nsa frɛ wo na waba abɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛn nneɛma. Yɛda ase tiefo a mohwɛ yɛn. Mo a montumi ambobɔ mu den no nyinaa. Sandra Fraser, good morning. Helena, hey, good morning. Nasi, good morning. Tiledoma, metiatia mo nyinaa. Obi biara a ɔbaa so nyinaa, metiatia mo nyinaa. Na megye di sɛ this weekend, yɛndi ne yie. Na yɛmma love no flow wherever we are. Make sure, be kind. Na obi, let somebody because of you have a beautiful smile in their faces. Nyame nhyira mo nyinaa na ɔnkan next week, same time, same place. Ebɛsan hyia. Nyame nka yɛn ho. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493-7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.